All right, third time's a charm. Been trying to record this episode for about a few hours now, and hopefully we'll get it right this time. Mainly because of technical difficulties, because that's technology, right? Anyway, the title of this podcast is an homage to the indie film Escape from Tomorrow. The film is a guerrilla film recorded at Walt Disney World Parks and Resorts. If you haven't seen it, it is certainly worth the watch. I do not like spoilers, so I won't give anything away here, but just know that it's a fantastic ride, and maybe if I get a request to do a review on it, I will. No, I'll probably do a review on it anyway because it's a fun movie to review. I mean, it takes the ideas of what you think the parks are to what they're not, and a really twisted, morbid fantasy. It's really cool. But now that's out of the way. On with the show. When I was 7, my parents divorced. It happens. The divorce didn't bother me when I was younger, at first anyway. I contribute that to two factors. One, my father's in the Air Force, so he was already never home. And two, family members kept telling me that I should be bothered by it. Now, one thing people know about me as a young man, as a person I am today, if you tell me that I should be worried or bothered about something, I'm probably not going to be bothered or worried about it. This is how I am, weird like that. To handle the situation the best way they could, my parents took my brother Binks and I to every stage play, ice skating show, movie, and theme park that 1997 had to offer. This year will go down in family history as the year the dad tried. During that year was my first experience with the parks, and the experience was, no. It was wonderful. 7-year-old Percy was ecstatic. I was in love with the parks and the company as a whole from the first time I saw Walt Disney Presents on TV. You know, they used to air it 1, 2 in the morning on Disney Channel back when you had to pay for Disney Channel. I know, I'm dating how old I am. And if you remember that, you're probably as old as me or a little bit older. Yet standing there in front of Cinderella's castle, it was breathtaking. The sights, the sounds, and of course the massive turkey legs. I had caught the Disney bug, and it wasn't going anywhere after that fateful trip. From that day on, I spent every ounce of free time studying, documenting, and researching a man named Walt and his amazing world. I would love to say that I mean that in the most innocent way possible of studying about something like that. You know, you're probably thinking I probably just read some books, watched a lot of the movies a lot, watched a lot of the cartoons a lot, which I did that. I did do a lot of those things. But when I was in high school and had more access to the internet, I did a lot of research, as in, like, I kept a copy of Walt Disney's Will in my notebook. Don't ask questions. I thought it was kind of cool. First of all, it shouldn't be that easy for me to get a copy of some man's will. But hey, I had a copy. Don't judge me. But other than that, I'm pretty tame when it comes to being a fan. The reason I'm doing this podcast is, one, telling the stories I think should be told from my experiences when I was an intern at Disney World, because it was just fun. And I think my family is kind of tired of hearing the same old stories. I mean, that was almost 10 years ago, and I'm pretty sure my siblings have heard enough about my time there. Of course, even then, I forget some stories, and I tell them, oh, remember this story? And like, oh, there's a new one? It's not a new one, I just forgot about it because so much happened. So that's another reason for this podcast. It's kind of, you know, shed some more insights to myself and other fans. I hesitated doing this because, one, I didn't want to do a YouTube channel where I'm sitting in front of a camera and I'm talking, and there you go. And there were a lot of YouTubers, like a lot of well-known YouTubers. One being Mr. Swoozy. He's awesome. If you was to subscribe to this channel or even watch this video, that'd be cool. Or listen to this video, that'd be awesome. But YouTubers like him and others I've seen, I was like, well, there's all tons of YouTube channels already out there about former Disney cast members. So what? I'm nothing special, but that's not true because I'm pretty sure half supposed to happen to me didn't happen to everybody. And this podcast is also supposed to be a sounding board for those that might feel a bit misunderstood about what they're a fan of or from different fandoms. When I was growing up, living in Arsenal, it's a small. Okay, that's not fair. It's not a small town. It's a rather medium town that knows everybody. If you know one person, you know a lot of people, and it's very military concentrated. We share a space with the nearest military base, which is actually the largest military base in the United States. And so it gets kind of like growing up here, if you were like a nerd or a geek, it was kind of like, you're going to be some smart person in the military, right? So when you told them you weren't going to the military or you weren't going to do anything other than that, you're like, oh, that's weird. And then if you weren't into like the usual young guy things like hunting or exercise or sports especially. I mean, it's the South. If you weren't playing football, you're weird. And I'm 6'2", 300 pounds, and I didn't play football. And they thought I was like, what's wrong with you? God gave you that body to play football. I like watching football. Go Steelers. But I mean, other than that, I never had an interest playing in it. Disney was my interest. I like the movies, like the cartoons, love the history. History is really what got me. Just all of it was amazing. And another reason why I did this podcast was because you would think, I met people now, my age and older, they're huge fans of Disney or Harry Potter or Doctor Who or other fandoms. And, like I said, growing up, I didn't have support. I had friends that were aware of who I was and how I was about things. And in our little circle, they were cool with it. But, I couldn't really go out and meet other people and not worry, okay, you're going to judge me or you're going to think something terrible about me. When I was younger, my father had a girlfriend who we'll call Debbie. And Debbie, that'd be funny for Christmas, to give me, a lot of things that are not appropriate to give a male fan, unless he's into that, for Christmas. So what they gave me was a Tinkerbell travel mug, which I was like, cool, that's nice, thanks. Cinderella keychain. The Tigger keychain they gave me, I was kind of like, everybody likes Tigger, whatever. But the rest of it was a lot of really female-oriented Disney things, and I was kind of like, that's not cool. I was really upset about it. I didn't talk to my dad for a year after that, because I was just like, dude, what the crap. Now, good report is that woman is no longer around us. It's been about 12 years since she's been around us, so good stuff. But no, it was a weird thing. So when I went and got in the program, first of all, I didn't think I was getting in the program. I didn't even think about the program for a while, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But I knew that one day I wanted to do something with the company just because it made me happy and made others happy. But for now, that's just a little bit more about the story as we go along. And next time I will tell you how I ended up at Disney World as an intern, and the story of how I got there will surprise a lot of people, especially my friends, because a lot of them I don't think know the full story of how I ended up there. But that story is for another day, my friends. And until then, I hope you have a good day. Bye now.